Okay, so Gabrielle Union is in a fight with America's Got Talent. She was let go from the show, fired, because, as you know, her claim, she was bringing up the fact that there were some racially insensitive remarks being made on the show. She was told that her hairstyle and her style in general was a little bit too black for their liking. And because of those things, she was booted from the show. And now there's this public feud going on where she's dragging America's Got Talent through the mud. Now America's Got Talent is being investigated. And I really wanted to take this opportunity to speak on where I think black people today are kind of missing the point. Or not missing the point. Black Americans with means are kind of not taking the step that I believe they should be taking when it comes to getting to the next level, right? In the 1950s, 1940s, 30s, black Americans, rich or poor, didn't really have too many places that they could go where they could start their own business, right? You had to go to banks to get loans, and the banks weren't out there giving out money, right, to African Americans because of racial discrimination and whatnot. So it really limited your options. So in those times, your only option might have been, you know what, I need to force this job to change the way they operate, because if I don't do that, there's no hope for anyone who wants to do this type of work, right? But in 2019, there are so many options that look, this is just me. I think that it looks weak. I don't find anything that Gabrielle Union is doing to be strong. I don't find it to be empowering. I don't find it, like, I'm not with her. Like, I don't stand with her. I think there's this complex that rich black Americans have where they want to be victims, right? They want to be victims. They want a woe is me story. There's a high when it comes to being perceived as fighting for racial change and whatnot. But to me, this is weak. You have all this money, Gabrielle Union. Why not create your own show? Hip hop is the biggest genre of music in America right now. I'd argue in the world. I just know for a fact that that's the case in America. It passed rock and roll 10, 20 years ago as the most popular genre in this country. So if hip hop is the most popular genre listened to in America, and the majority of people who partake in that genre of music, meaning the performers, the musicians, happen to be African American, why can't African Americans, specifically those with money, create their own Got Talent show? And you can't say, well, you don't want to have another singing show. Dude, there's a bunch of them out there. You got America's Got Talent. You got The Four. You have The Voice. Like, the number of American Idol, the list of shows that do the same thing, as far as I'm concerned, it's a super long list. So why not create one where you guys will be your own bosses, right? I think Nick Cannon was the previous host of America's Got Talent. He left because they told him that they didn't want him making certain comments and doing certain stand-up routines in this comedy, and he walked away, right? Which I respect. There wasn't all this complaining and bitching and trying to bring down America's Got Talent just because he left. And that's why, to me, what Gabrielle Union is doing is not respectable to me. When somebody hires you, and this kind of ties in almost to like the Kaepernick NFL thing, where, dude, when somebody hires you for a job, right, there are certain things that you can't do at that job, and there are other things that you can do at that job. And it's up to you to decide whether the things you can do override the things you can't do, and it makes the job something that I can do this job. Dress code, appearances, all of those matter when it comes to jobs. It sucks. You know why it sucks for us, though? We don't own shit. There aren't a bunch of black businesses out there where we can go to where we would understand, you know what, that hairstyle is acceptable. We don't have any options. Asian Americans, they own a lot of businesses where they work, where they are both employers and employees. And when you have a significant number of people who look like you that are employers, then they can change the status quo. So while this place here says, you know what, we don't like hairstyles like that. We like, to be clean cut, no beard, whatever. You can't work there, but guess what? If enough people that look like you are employers, you might be able to find a job where the appearance that they require is different because your employer doesn't see an issue with how you look. All right? That's the next level that we have to take. All of these celebrities constantly bitching. Gabrielle Union, LeBron James, who I love, was my favorite player. Dude, any opposition you have where you perceive there to be racial discrimination or racial bias, you have enough income to create a new industry, a whole new landscape separate from what they got. Make yours popular, bury theirs. There are just too many options now for this, right? And I think this is a good example of always remembering that, look, man, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. When you are an employee, even a rich employee, you are on the menu. You are not at the table. If you want to be at the table, then you need to create a table, or you need to come in saying, I want to be at the table. I want to make decisions in how things are run here, or else I can't work here. That has to be the way you approach it. Other than that, I think this is much to do about nothing. I think Gabrielle Union probably did hear some racist remarks at the job. As far as them saying that her style was too black or her hair was too black and they wanted her to change her hairstyle and stuff, that's show business. I'm not out here feeling sorry for rich niggas. I'm just not. And I can't believe I said that word because I hate that word. I really use it. But that's how I feel. You're seeing this trend where blacks with money and wealth are trying to get the foot soldiers, and by foot soldiers, I mean everyday black Americans, to kind of do their fighting for them as if their problems are our problems. And they're not. This is rich person beef. Has nothing to do with us. And I kind of feel like Stephen A now, because when Stephen A was talking about how, his issue with the Kaepernick stuff was that, look, if you want a job, you have to capitulate to a certain extent to get said job, or just don't want the job. And I think that's common sense to me. We need to start creating our own shows, owning our own shit. Then we won't have this problem. When you own, no one can tell you a damn thing on how to run your own entity. Whether that's a show, product, pushing a product, movies, TV. When you own it, it's yours. So I want to challenge wealthy African Americans to stop complaining and start creating. Employers, not employees. We need more of that. God bless you.